Hey everyone, welcome to the UVD Weekly Wrap-Up, the show where the team from UrbanVinylDaily.com goes over everything there is to know in the designer toy, art, street art, and Sofubi world. I'm your host, Travis Likens.
And I'm Ben Pierce.
We're here for episode 48, which we've entitled,
What Would Brian Boitano Do?
If He Were Here Today.
Kick an ass or two.
That's what Brian Boitano do. So this has nothing to do with the episode at all, but it just came up when we were trying to come up with our title. And that's about it. Nothing really to talk about.
We're kind of running thin on titles.
We're running thin and feeling uninspired today. It's been a busy week here in the UVD headquarters. Pretty soon, I don't know if we'll have the chair that Ben is sitting on. As we're moving, we've been selling a lot of stuff. And
BYOC, bring your own chair.
Yeah, next week could be potentially not a lot of furniture here. So we'll see.
Considering you sold the table out from under the computer anyway.
Yeah,
so.
the table that we use to record on is actually sold and on hold for somebody. Luckily, it will be here until we move. So we'll see. But yeah, it's getting kind of thin here at the UVD headquarters. The new headquarters, hopefully we'll be in July. And
we'll be back to 2 headquarters.
Yeah. So
I'll finally unbox a bunch of my stuff.
So we'll see. We'll see what kind of happens with recording wise. But until then, bear with us as things slowly continue to start to disappear at the current recording location. As always, we want to start out by thanking our sponsors, starting off with GalleryF.
Continuing with Rotofugi.
And Strange Cat Toys, where if you use the code UVD at checkout, you'll receive 10% off your order. And we'd like to thank you guys again, as always, for using that code. Helps let Corey over there know that we have viewers that actually use the code. So if you want to help us out by helping Corey out, by helping us out, you can save 10% on your order. And hopefully you'll pick up some new things like the DTA Dunny series, which we still have not got a hold of. But it seems like a lot of people are really, really impressed with the figures. And hopefully we're going to get some soon. It's like we said before, hard to find them out here. We've been busy, so we haven't been able to travel to somewhere that carries them. So until we order them
into the
or
big
travel.
city of either Columbus or Cincinnati.
Yeah. So until we travel or order something, we're kind of stuck not reviewing them, but we're kind of missing out because I really want to get my hands on a bunch of those. So we'll have to wait and see.
I think we know an artist duo in Northern Kentucky that could probably let us borrow some.
Yeah. I don't think they've got theirs yet, so we'll have to see. But anyway, so next up, we want to go into the news. This week, we got a pretty good number of stories, but was kind of thin while we were searching around on stuff we wanted to cover. But starting out, we've got the Shaka Does It Big Island Edition, which is an edition of 10 pieces. So those that
was available at Powwow. Did you get to see it in person?
Well, the green one.
Yeah,
I did see the green one. So for those that do not know, this is a Silent Stage and OG Slick release based on his Uzi Does It version, which this one, the difference is it has a different hand. So instead of like the machine gun or the MAC-10 Uzi, the Uzi, there we go. Instead of the Uzi that he's got, it is a Shaka. So the little Shaka hand. And the original one was white with green flowers on the shorts and the bandana. This version is limited to 10 and it features a red print. So it has the Hawaii themed kind of tropical swim trunks and bandana over its face. It's limited to 10 pieces, 16 inches tall, high impact red resin, signed and numbered, and I believe it includes a certificate of authenticity. And it is $2,000. So if you're a fan of that, we'll be releasing this Friday
at 2 p.m.
At 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I forgot to write the date, but
it's the 9th. The
9th. There we go. So Friday the 9th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. $2,000, limited to 10. If you want one, get it because I think the first one was limited to 3. So there's not very many of this version. And they did say that this will be the last run of the Shaka Does It. So if you're looking for the Uzi Does It, but you're not really a fan of violence, this is your last chance to get it. So,
and if you have the green one, you need the red one so you can have Christmas.
Yeah, you could put them together, put them out at Christmas, put a little Santa hat on them. You're good to go.
Christmas comes early for the Hawaii people.
The spirit of Christmas.
Yeah.
Tying it back to our Brian Boitano title. There you go.
So for me, the reason I knew it was the 9th was because the next piece of news I have releases on the 9th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Jermaine Rogers is continuing with just the barrage of prints that he's releasing. The first set is the Inevitability set, where he showed off an image a while ago where it's one of the Deeros being mobbed by a bunch of other Deeros and maybe mugged, maybe eaten, whatever you want to assume. But these prints are 29 inches by 19 inches, which means that you have to custom frame or mat them. The Opal edition, which is a white, is limited to 60 pieces at $60 each. And the Star Dream Gold is 25 pieces at $75 a piece. And he also has 2 different mini prints available. The If I Had Good Health, I Would Give You All of It, which has Frida and I believe a Dero behind her, which is an 11 by 5 inch mini print, $15. And the Tuor Yi, which is like a rabbit with a mermaid tail, is a mini print, an 8 inch by 7 inch for $15.
Very cool.
So 4 prints, along with a bunch of mystery stuff he just casually tends to throw in there to stir people up.
Yeah, maybe some more of those pens. Alpine or Alpin. Yeah, those things. I do not know why I cannot remember the name of Jermaine Rogers pieces. For whatever reason, these are
because you have 0 pieces by him except maybe a dunny.
No, I mean I have the piece you loaned me.
Well, that you don't technically own it.
Yeah, I feel like I look at all the stuff and I love it, but I just cannot remember the names of things. So for whatever reason, that's what happens with his stuff. But I do love his work, and these all look really cool. And hopefully you are grabbing them for your collection. And if you're one of those people that is working,
he usually has a working man sale.
He has the working man sale later in the day or over the weekend or something like that. So keep an eye out. He'll probably announce that after the sale. He doesn't usually announce it before, right?
I think it's a fairly standard. It's usually a 6 p.m. the same day or at some point on the weekend.
So keep an eye out if you happen to be the working folk that can't do things during the daytime. Next up, we have news coming from Paper and Plastick. The second part of their Monkey Assassin and Skull resin subscriptions will be hitting their store this Friday.
They're alcohol themed.
Alcohol themed, cocktail themed to be exact. They had a variety of different ones available in different names that I did not write down, but it is a 6-month subscription. There are 2 different subscriptions, one for the Monkey Assassins and one for the Skulls. The 6-month subscription means you get 6 of them. And
since we are in the month of June.
It is $120 per subscription. So $120 for the monkeys, $120 for the skulls. So if you've been collecting these or running, like a collection of these, this is the time to get in, because he does close the subscription, and then you're going to miss out. And guess what? When it's like, I don't know, November, and he puts up something, you're like, man, I wish I would have bought that.
Oh, man.
I don't want to hear.
What brand Boitano do?
I don't want to hear your crap, because we told you back in June that you needed to buy this stuff for $120. So there you go. Make sure to head over to paperandplastic.com and grab those before they are sold. So.
Mm-hmm. So I think we're a handful of days into this, but Scribe and 1X Run have the Graffiti Samurai print up available for 11 more days. I guess 10 more days when this is posted, for $65, and they are 14 inches by 18 inches.
Very
so
cool.
For those that can't figure out what a Graffiti Samurai is, it's a samurai that has, I think, a paint roller as the sword.
Cool. Next up, news coming from JFury. We are excited to report that the Animal Instinct pieces have moved to his personal, the remaining ones that are still there, have moved to his personal graphs. So if you've missed out the twice that they have been available, we do want to announce that he currently has them available through his Instagram. So if you're looking to grab one of those, make sure to head over to @JFury1 on Instagram and contact him. He does have a photo of the pieces that are available over on his Instagram. So if you want to grab those, make sure to contact him. Lots of good stuff still available. Surprisingly, some of the dunnies and different things he's customized are still available. So now's your time to get them. Here they're going quick, the ones that are left. So make sure to contact him soon.
Maybe you should cut the legs off them so they can't run away. It'll be a little bit slower than if they didn't have legs. But regardless, next piece of news. The Red Can Jam, which is in the Dakotas. I think it's South Dakota, maybe North Dakota. One of the 2 Dakotas.
Somewhere in that general vicinity.
Wherever they've had it in the past couple of years. They posted the event flyer just to kind of talk about what's going on the week of, I think, June 29th. East posted it, so you can look at his stuff. Scribe usually is involved in the art and graffiti related events. I think there's bowling. There's a couple other things there.
You sound very uninformed about this.
I try to be. There's a couple flyers, and it was kind of busy, so
So you're essentially uninformed
there
about this event.
There is a shirt available that has a Scribe related design on it that is...
So that's why you wanted to report on this.
I just kind of came across it as I was
scrolling through
Facebook.
So do you have a date?
I said June 29th.
There you go. June 29th. So towards the end of the month, right there before the 4th of July week. So make sure to head out there. It's a good time.
And I think it ends July 2nd.
Okay. Well, there you go. Right before. You can party there and then party in 4th of July weekend too. Or just recover.
Except 4th of July is during the week this year, unfortunately.
Well, it's still a day off for me. So that's all I'm worried about. But anyway, so next up we have news coming from Elloo. She has some new works available this Friday at the Pilsen Outpost, which apparently is an art store collective type thing in Chicago. She's painted 4 new spray cans featuring her designs of monsters and donuts and different things like that. Monsters and donuts and different organizations and things like that. They're going to be available this Friday, obviously, at this store. So if you're in Chicago, make sure to stop in and grab one of those. I'm not sure how much they're going to be. She hasn't posted that yet, but they are all on Montana 94 cans, looks like. So it's a pretty cool white background for these cans. So usually, these kind of things go pretty quick. So grab one for your collection.
Next one is a little bit vague, but I think we're close to the mark on this one. Task1 showed off a part of a piece of resin that he's working on, which looks very Jesse Hernandez-esque. That it's like...
I did see this.
It's clear, and so I think it's like the toothy crown of one of the Jaguar-ish figures. And he said it's an 11-piece resin piece. So, yeah, it's a lot of pieces.
That's going to be a lot of resin.
Yeah,
and a lot of assembly and a lot of cutting and cleaning.
I would imagine low run, lots of pieces in this, and however much it ends up being, it is.
Yeah, so. It seems like We Are Not Toys is up to some work here. They showed off a preview of a JC Rivera, the piece they released at DesignerCon last year, but it looks like it's wood. So I don't know if they got it CNC'd or if Task and those guys have just been killing it with their fake wood creating this. Something's going on there with that. They recently released the alternative colorway of the Cub figure from, it's Paw. That's what it is. Paw figure from Mike Fudge. They've been showing off these teasers. So We Are Not Toys is getting ready to make another run at it here. I think we're going to see something crazy like we did at DesignerCon, I'm guessing. I know that it takes a while for them to put together all their pieces. So something's going on at We Are Not Toys that we do not know about.
Because we are not toys.
Because we are not toys. So they, I don't know. I'm just impressed every time they do something. So I'm excited to see what's going on with this Jesse Hernandez looking figure and all the stuff they got going down. So if you're not following We Are Not Toys or Task1 on Instagram or Riser, make sure to head over there and check that out. I'll put links down in the show notes below because they are up to something. I mean, Designer Toy Award nominated figures as well. So they're putting out some quality product. So check them out. My final piece of news that I have for the week is actually a teaser. That's not a lot of news, but it is interesting enough.
Very interesting.
So if you watched the recent episode of the Super Suck Hour, you will see that the Suck Lord interviewed Frank Kozik. It's a very good kind of he's art giant talking to the Suck Lord and kind of going through things that he thinks he could do to, kind of improve his career and get himself back on track from a veteran that, has done this for a long time. But they also mentioned some very important news from Kidrobot, and that Kidrobot has been able to kind of infiltrate some of these art licenses. So a lot of you people are out there saying, Kidrobot sucks these days because all they want to do is make some pop culture stuff.
What would Brian Boitano do?
Yeah, but a lot of you guys are just ticked off because they're doing all this pop culture stuff, but there is a purpose to the pop culture stuff. So the first wave of it sounds like Kidrobot kind of had to play nice and kind of make Kidrobot versions of, pop culture things like Bob's Burgers and different things. They did have a couple of those things like the Bart, where an artist designed a Bart, and there was a Ron English version of Bart as well, I think, or there was different characters they did Bart Simpson wise. And they were cool about letting them do different things. It appears that we have a new wave of this. Tara McPherson.
A la maybe the Black series.
I think it's just a DC, like, because they basically have a teaser that shows DC, and it's clearly Wonder Woman. Like, come on here. This teaser is not teasing anybody. It's clearly Wonder Woman, but it is designed by Tara McPherson. But in that podcast, they also explained that Kozik has been getting a ton of these, where he's getting licensors to approve designs where they mess with the character and do it the Kidrobot way with artists that we're all familiar with, to, basically do different versions of characters in their own way. So it'll be very interesting to see how far this Tara McPherson piece ventures from the original Wonder Woman design and kind of what they're doing with it. I'm excited to see it. I mean, I'm not saying it's something I'm going to buy, but it's very interesting because we often kind of fall into this thing where we say licensors will not approve things that are not, this is clearly Wonder Woman. But that's not true now, because we have Mighty Jaxx with clear examples where they're doing the XX ray, where that is not basically the same figure over and over again, as far as the same, this is Superman, here's Superman. It's definitely a different Superman or a different Batman. It's a half and half type thing. And now we're seeing more of this pop culture stuff where they're playing with the design. So let's see what Tara does with it. So
for those that remember the Hello Kitty series,
yes.
Is this going to be like that? Or is Tara McPherson going to be the only one who stabs at it?
I don't know. But that series was a great example of Kidrobot being able to come in and take a very well-known license and do their own things. I mean, the Amanda Vassell one was, clearly the character, but it was very different.
The Kozik one? The
Junko one was a very Junko Choco Cat. Like, it was not Choco Cat in any way. If you looked at it, most people would recognize it as Junko's work before they'd recognize it as Choco Cat, as if it was somebody that was in the designer toy world, which is not always the case when licensors get involved. So I'm very excited to see what Kidrobot does. It sounds like there was I want to say a teaser maybe in that Sucklord talk. Kozik mentions a Brant Peters Batman. So he's like, yeah, that's Brant Peters doing a Batman. He kind of like nonchalantly says it, but
then that kind of answers that question.
With this news of a Wonder Woman, yeah, you're right. So it does kind of
like a Justice League of the Justice League of Artists.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. We don't know, but it's very interesting to see. And I'm if there is a Brant Peters Batman, I'm definitely interested in seeing it. Like,
I'd hate to be the artist that gets Aquaman.
Aquaman. So the Flash. I want to see Kano do the Flash.
That wouldn't be terrible.
I think that would be a very interesting one because his work kind of has movement to it anyway. Mm-hmm. So I think that'd be a very interesting one. But I'm very excited to see what they do with that. Hopefully they can expand it and more licensors will jump on board, because I think that's where Kozik kind of sees the biggest room for Kidrobot to do its thing and separate itself from Funko Pop and all these other things that are just, here's a character, buy it because it's the character or a cute version of the character. They understand that getting in big box stores like Best Buy, because, by the way, Best Buy has Kidrobot. I don't know if you've been to Best Buy recently.
I have, but I haven't looked for it.
They have South Park Kidrobot.
Oh, they're probably cleaning out the basement, getting some Kidrobot.
But I mean, they like the way to get into these stores though is to have a pop culture themed item, and these big box stores will buy it because it's Brant Peters Batman. It's a Batman. Mm-hmm. They're not looking at it as Brant Peters. But if you wouldn't said, hey, look at this awesome Brant Peters dunny, stores are gonna be like, what the hell's a dunny?
Who the hell's Brant Peters?
So I mean, it's an interesting take, and hopefully it does what people have always kind of wanted to do. Is if we get designer toys in a box store, will that excite people about buying a dunny and other designer toys? I think maybe, but you're still going to get the people that get the designer toys are still always going to be the collector that is kind of burnt out on pop culture stuff. They find some toy that they're like, oh, this is different, I'm interested in that. Or it's going to be somebody that likes the artist and then also wants the toy. That I think that's always going to be the thing. But it's a very interesting technique to try to sneak in buying pop culture designed by an artist. And does that excite people into buying non-Batman Brant Peters stuff? Like if you get the biggest Brant Peters fan in the world, thinks this is the coolest, or sorry, let me rephrase this. You get the biggest Batman fan in the world, gets this Brant Peters Batman and says, who the heck is this Brant Peters? I got to know more about him.
You got some circus posters going on there.
And then jumps down the rabbit hole. Does that happen? I don't know, but it's an interesting technique.
It's a gateway.
So hopefully we see more activity in that, in that realm as we kind of continue on. Until then, keep an eye out at Kidrobot on Instagram, and maybe they'll reveal this Tara McPherson Wonder Woman here soon.
We should have ended with this as compared to just whimpering out with my last piece of news. So, last piece of news, unfortunately, is not as talk-worthy as what Travis had, but Mondo is having the All the Flowers at My Funeral show by Sunny Day.
It's kind of a downer, actually.
Yeah. All the Flowers at My Funeral by Sunny Day, which is a weird juxtaposition, but it is June 30th through July 2nd in Austin, Texas.
Awesome. So the final piece of everything we're going to talk about is, of course, about us.
The Kickstarter.
Yes. So if you've been paying attention, we are a little over a third of the way funded. We need your help. We definitely need your guys' help. So if you guys are able to share the Kickstarter with your followers, share the Kickstarter on your Instagram, Twitters, anywhere that you can.
And in case you guys have been living under a rock, they have shown off some of the custom resins.
Yes, we
now are going to be part of it.
We now have the Willow revealed. We now have the mini blooms revealed. So if you're a fan of Kyle Kerwin's work or the plush in general, make sure to head over to Kickstarter.com, search Willo, Willo, or UVD Toys or Kyle Kerwin, and however you want to find it, you can get it. Or if you go to our profile over on Instagram and click the link in our bio, you will be directed directly to the Kickstarter. You can back the plush. At the plush level, it's $30. You'll receive the plush and the coloring pages, but there are a variety of other levels you can back, including things like pens, magnets, original resin, one-offs, which actually that one's gone, and resin series like the Willow, Mini Bloom, and Bloom, and you can get those for various levels, depending on how much you want to support. We really, really need your support if we're going to make this thing a dream, make this dream come true.
Make this thing a dream.
If not, it will remain a dream. And guess what? I will have one of the rarest toys ever.
One of two.
One of two. So hopefully let's not keep it down to an edition of 2. Let's get it pumped up and let's make this a thing. We appreciate everybody that jumped on early and is already supporting, but we're going to need your help if we're going to get there. So
we need to convince people to buy them for birthdays and Christmases and other holidays.
And your favorite niece, nephew,
child, parent.
Please note, this is made for ages 15 and up. I have to say that.
Really?
It's because we don't test for kid stuff. So like
technically then everything below 18 is a kid then still.
So there's like some law where 15 and up is a kid thing. So 15 and up is like adult collector or whatever. So anyway, so we can't tell you to buy it for your kids, but it's not going to probably hurt your kids. So
the dye will not leach off if they lick it.
So, but if you really like the Willow and wanted to join your collection, make sure to head over to Kickstarter and back it. We've got about 2.5 weeks left. So help us get there. Third of the way. We're looking for 2/3 more.
I was waiting to see if you could figure out the numbers.
So, but as always, I'm Travis.
And I'm Ben.
Have a great designer toy day. Thanks for checking out our video right here on youtube.com/urbanvinyldaily. While you're here, make sure to give us a subscribe and a like. And if you're so gracious, you can share this video on your favorite social network. You can always give us a follow on Instagram or Twitter at Urban Vinyl Daily, or find us on Facebook by going to facebook.com/urbanvinyldaily, and you'll be able to keep up with our latest posts and information going on in the world of UVD. If you want to help us out in more of a monetary way, you can always head over to our store, urbanvinyldaily.storeenvy.com, and check out all the awesome things we have available from great artists from all over the world. Or you can head over to our PayPal and just straight up donate to us to help us keep the lights on and keep things going by going to paypal.com and sending money over to urbanvinyldaily@gmail.com. And that will help us out in more ways than you know. If you want to keep up with everything going on in the world of UVD, make sure to head over to urbanvinyldaily.com. Or if you're interested in sponsorship information, a comment, or a question, make sure to head over to urbanvinyldaily@gmail.com and send us a message. And if it's good enough, we'll answer it right here on the UVD Weekly Wrap-Up. As always, this has been an Urban Vinyl Daily production.